I am Angelo Ponzi, your host here at the Business Growth Cafe, and I want to thank you for joining me. Now, as you can see from if you are watching the video, you can see from the graphic, we are called the 5-minute break. So if you've been listening to the show, you know that we spend a lot of time really talking to our guests. In some cases, we're going 30, 40, 50 minutes and really digging down deep. But I wanted to do something a little bit different and to create these kind of 5-minute breaks, if you will, a coffee break. That's what the Business Growth Cafe is all about, right? We're sitting across the table from each other, having a coffee, and we are having a discussion. So that's what I want to do with this 5-minute break. I'm going to have a series of them, and hopefully you will join me in listening to those. So the first one that I want to talk about is consistency. Now, if you know me and you know this show, you know I come from the marketing world. And consistency is one of the areas I always debate with my clients. It's about being consistent in your message, in your positioning, in your brand, and how you communicate. You know, I hear all the time, oh yeah, we have a great social campaign. And I go and I look at their feeds and they haven't posted for weeks or months, in some cases a year. So it gets a little crazy. So when you think about your message is about how to communicate and make sure that not only you as the brand leader, but also everyone in the company. If you have 50 people in your company, when they walk out the door, they should be able to communicate your positioning and what your brand is all about. I was recently in a meeting with some new folks, and I managed to talk to maybe 6 or 7 of them independently as we were kind of getting to know each other. And I asked them the question, if you were in an elevator and you saw me as a prospect, how would you describe your brand? And I think I interviewed 6, and I pretty much got 6 different answers. So think about that. If the internal folks are confused about how to speak about your brand in a consistent way, then your market's going to be confused as well. So when you're mapping out your communications and you're planning out your plan, if you're not planning in advance, especially in this digital world, you need to be out there 30, 60, 90 days if possible. Yes, you're going to need to pivot based on what's going on. But at the end of the day, you really need to be pre-planning to make sure there is a consistency. And if you're using multiple channels, you're using digital, you're using paid, you're using organic, doing any traditional, going to trade shows, anything that you're doing, that message has to be consistent, whether it's around a particular campaign or whether it's about the overall aspects of your brand. And not only in those channels, but certainly, of course, on your website. So many times we see websites being very company centric, right? Our product is great. It's going to last a long time, all this kind of stuff. But the reality is, does your customers really care about certain aspects of that? What's in it for them? What's the value that they get out of working with you? Is it as simply as my product's going to function better if you're an OEM and you're integrating into somebody else's product? Or if I'm using your product or services, my company will function better. I'll be able to provide better services, or internally will operate better if you're using software, for example, if we choose you versus choosing somebody else. So how do you lead them down that path so they understand from a consistent voice of what you're trying to communicate and the value that they get out of it? Now, I appreciate you tuning into this. Hopefully you'll enjoy this series. It will be a combination of audio and video, and I will be posting this everywhere. And so hopefully you'll enjoy it. If you do, ping me and let me know that you do. Frankly, if you don't, let me know that too. And I want to thank you for joining me at this premiere episode of the 5-minute break. And I really appreciate it. And if you haven't listened to the longer shows, go to thebusinessgrowthcafe.com. Please subscribe and make sure you join me here tomorrow.